had an epic cheetah sighting, sort of climbing up fallen marulas, scent marking or chasing something. So that is still in the pipeline, of course. I have no doubt that the killer bees will have one of those sightings in the near future. Okay. Last sip of my tea. It's warmed up quite nicely. Hello, suspicious primate. Suspicious primate would like to know what type of tea I'm drinking. Did you see it, Brian? At the top of this little... Oh, is he he's flown, don't worry. It was a little Battis. See if we can spot him in the next tree. But suspicious primate's wondering what type of tea am I drinking? Is it made from local plants? Now, the only time I drink a tea that is made from local plants is when I'm getting a cold or a flu. Then I will harvest a plant called Lipia javanica. Now, Lipia javanica is also known as Bushman's fever tea or wild mint. It smells very minty, of course, and you use that with honey, and it is a really good preventative as soon as you start feeling a little bit cold or flu-y. But other than that, no, I'm afraid my tea this morning is quite boring. Earl Grey, been around for a while. I'm not actually sure of the origins of Earl Grey tea, but where James and I used to work, there used to be a butler, and he had a bit of problems with the pronunciation of Earl Grey. So it was known to us for many years and still quite often called by us, instead of Earl Grey, it's called Early Grey. You only have Early Grey in the morning. So old December thought it was Early Grey, and it doesn't matter how many times we tried to tell him it was Earl Grey, it was never going to be Earl Grey, it was only going to be Early Grey. There we go, Final Control doing a little bit of research for me. Earl Grey was apparently named after a guy called Charles Grey, and maybe he came up with the blend. But the Earl Grey was the second Prime Minister in the 1800s. I think I heard that correct. 1830s, there we go. I see. That's the wonderful thing. That's a new knowledge for me. But that's the wonderful thing about being out here. You do learn constantly. And we're going to continue heading towards the western sections of Cheetah Plains. While we do that, let's go see how Jamie's faring on Djuma.
We are right in the middle of Djuma, on Central Road to be exact, and as Central Road suggests, it is in the center. I hear that Brent's been discussing his morning tea. I don't know whether or not he realizes, because I know, because I made him his tea, that it wasn't in fact Earl Grey at all. I'm not sure whether his refined tea taste buds have picked up on that fact or not, but there definitely wasn't any Earl Grey in there. That was solid, good quality South African blend, normal tea, black tea. Right, now I hear a report that there are some very large, very grey animals somewhere just along this road. I am, of course, referring to elephants and nothing else. Let's just keep our eyes peeled for them. I would really enjoy a nice elephant sighting at this stage. We've had our lion, and he has escaped us. And poor old Maggie is probably feeling a little bit the worse for the wear, and every now and again, Jandre and I double-check to see that the tires are still vaguely pumped up. Let's go see what's standing on the termite mound. It looks like a buffalo. So not the large grey thing we were looking for, but a large brown thing. The wonderful thing about termite mounds, though, is that they give us a very different perspective on the animals that we see. Don't go running off now, boy. Okay, we've stopped. I know we're a very subtle approach that we made there. There's a figure that you would definitely not want to see bearing down upon you. An important lesson in making sure that you always check what's on the other side of the termite mound before you climb it. Because you never know what you might encounter on the other side. And a grumpy buffalo bull is definitely high up on the list of encounters one would like to avoid on a Sunday morning. Now he's up on the termite mound because termites, as you can imagine, when they dig up from the depths of the earth, they bring that soil up from underneath the ground. They bring with it all of the nutrients that have been sheltered there for decades. And that means that very often you'll find good species of grass growing up on termite mounds, as well as some more nutritious trees. And just have a look. I don't actually even know if Jean-Ray can get this other buffalo. Can you get him there, or is he in completely the wrong place for that bar? Things are a bit more tricky on our makeshift Mahindra. Here you go, just look at this. Buffalo are by nature bulk grazers. In other words, they eat grass. Although, in times like these, their digestive systems just have to learn to cope with other things. In this case, a weeping wattle tree, which actually on its own is not even all that nutritious, and it just goes to show how desperately these animals are fighting for survival at this point. Even if that includes changing their diet, not completely, but certainly supplementing. And it's not often you get to see a buffalo's tongue coming out and wrapping around tree leaves. That's because in general they don't eat them. They might, even in summer, nibble on the odd apple leaf, but it's very rare to see a buffalo targeting quite so enthusiastically a tree rather than a patch of grass. But then who can blame him? Because I'm not sure I would want to snack on the grass in its current state. Not that I'm a huge grass eater myself, but there's really nothing to eat, and it's not very appetizing at all. Now, a couple of days ago, and I still haven't relocated this particular buffalo calf that we saw, but a couple of days ago we had the most extraordinary sighting, Brian and myself, that we ended up being incredibly emotionally invested in, which was a young buffalo whose mother was struggling to get up and right herself after the birth of after giving birth to this little calf. And this poor little calf was so desperate, it was trying to suckle from a neighboring buffalo bull, which obviously wasn't met with much happiness on the part of the bull. Now, Tony, in terms of what's going to happen with all babies in the next few months, you were wondering if there's going to be less young born later, or if the young born are going to be weaker. I think that's probably going to differ from species to species. The impala, the wildebeest, and the warthogs, all of which have a very strict breeding season. There's a story that impala can delay their giving birth in order to wait for the rains. It's not true. It's just because not all of them fall pregnant at exactly the same time. So it just depends on that season when they're all going to give birth and when they mated exactly to when they're going to give birth. I think impalas young are going to be fine. I've just realized how much there is in terms of leaf litter in the vehicle with me at the moment. Maggie is now full of leaves. Mr. Buffalo, I'm not sure if no. Those are sort of meager offerings. Less babies, yes, probably. Weaker babies, yes, most likely. Elephants, buffalo, the bigger animals that are really going to struggle, I would say that they're going to be the ones that suffer the most. Warthog, you're going to see less offspring making it to full term, and less offspring even surviving once they have been born. So those are the animals that are going to suffer the most, I think. I think impala babies are going to be the same. Maybe a little bit less, because the poor females, you can imagine the impact that a pregnancy has on their resources. Let me try that one more time. Sorry, Kirsten. Give me a second. Okay, repeat, please. There we go. Okay, we need to send you across to Brent. It's getting a bit jumpy on our side. We need to reboot.
Well, welcome back. We've decided to check the western sections. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like quarantine has crossed around here. As I say that, now that confuses me a lot. They have right on our boundary, unfortunately, on our western boundary of Cheetah Plains. It's a crossword puzzle we're not even going to start. We have a look. Let me try to find a nice one. I think they are quite old, not old, yesterday. You see that there, Brian? Oh, you see the very distinct, let me get on the right side of the sun. 3 lobes at the back, but a very long and narrow foot. And then at the tip you can see there, 2 little claw marks. Now, this is not a male cheetah. This is a female cheetah. And we were asked about a female cheetah this morning. But she's managed to sneak through without anyone seeing her. And right across our western boundary in Cheetah Plains. I'd say she crossed here last night. Probably, or last night, or late evening last night. Came from there. Very interesting. Oh, wait, what was that? Hyena tracks. Very interesting. This is a crossword we're not even going to start because it will only last about 10 meters. I've just got a gut feeling, and Brian agrees, that we're going to meander our way back to 3 in a row pan. As it's got a bit warmer, possibly something might come to drink. Ellies, buffalo, maybe some zebra, but hopefully one of the cats as well. Let's have a look. Yeah. This is an area of Cheetah Plains we don't spend too much time in. It's very, very thick. And I like to just come down here every now and then, have a squiz what's going on. I mean, look at that, a female cheetah went through here. But while we head back towards 3 in a row pan, Jamie has found something very large to show you.
Here we go. This is what we set out for before we got distracted by the buffalo on a termite mound. Elaine, and to all of our other elephant lovers, this is a sighting for you. And it's actually spectacular. Of course, I can't see, and Maggie, what you are looking at in terms of lighting, but from my perspective, it is absolutely beautiful. Just these enormous grey shapes hidden in the bright, bright green of the spike-thorn thicket, and is just absolutely stunning. It's one of my favorite places to see elephants, sitting in river systems like this. What do you think, big girl? It's okay. It's okay. You can come across if you want. doing some serious thinking there. Twisting her trunk a little bit, just sniffing the air. Oh, cute! Is this why she's so nervous? Oh no, it's the little wrinkly foreheaded one. It's Benjamin Button. Ah, I'm so glad we got to see this little thing. Hello, hello. Alright, big girl. Sorry. We don't mean any harm to your little baby. Oh, hello. Oh, speed wobble. Oh, goodness. Hey, big girl. Hi. Your baby's beautiful. Your baby is beautiful. Even if it has got a wrinkly forehead. Hey, baby. The baby that is only just a couple of weeks, if that, old, that Brent named something ridiculous like old before his time, and one of the other viewers had a much better idea and called it Benjamin Button, just because of its wrinkly forehead. Oh, hello. Oh, we're surrounded by them. Sorry, I know that this is really awkward for Genre here. Very difficult position. Hello, big girl. Hi. Your baby is absolutely gorgeous. And I understand that you're feeling very protective because you're a young mom, youngish mom, and this little baby is absolutely minute. It's the wrinkliest baby elephant I ever did see. I know you can't see it at the moment because it's hiding behind mom, but it really is the wrinkliest baby elephant I have ever seen. It's incredible. Hello, Benjamin, hiding behind mommy there. We don't see you, but we will in a moment. Poor Genre attempting to... Hello, big girl. It's okay. It's okay. Genre says no, sorry. Okay. Sorry, Genre. That elephant chose the worst possible position to walk behind in terms of our abilities on the Mahindra. I just want to watch where she's gone. I can't see either, so, you know. Maggie maybe doesn't make for the best visibility in the world. Where has she gone? I can't see her at all. Okay, she's still on your side, okay. I prefer to be able to see what the elephants are doing around me, particularly new moms. Not that she's in any way stressed out. Is she far enough away? Perfect, thank you. Genre says we can reposition. I'm just going to change my angle here so that I can see what's happening. She is walking away from us. So I'm just going to let her get a little bit further because her baby's separate from her for now. The trick. One day we're going to get a shot with this side mirror with an elephant in it. That's because it's fantastically says objects in the mirror may be closer than they appear, which is a comforting thought when you're using it to look for elephants. Okay, there we go. She's turned around. So we can turn around. Absolutely. I'm so thrilled I got to see this little baby elephant. I heard so much about it. Brent told me he came home from the drive, and it just sounded so adorable, and now I can see exactly what he means. Ooh. Let's try to turn around in here. The signal might break up a little bit, but we should be back to normal soon. There we go. Beautifully relaxed herd of elephants. Can you see some of them through there, Genre? Perfect. Let's stop and have a quick look at them snacking on the spike thorn thicket. Not very appetizing. We saw the buffalo feeding on the weeping wattle. Spike thorns, like silver cluster leaves, incredibly high in tannin content, which means they taste very astringent, and they will suck away all of your saliva if you munch on them as a human being. Great for upset stomachs, not so much for the taste that they leave in your mouth. It's my pom-pom getting in the way there. I'm trying to duck it out of the way. It's very tricky when you can't I'm not used to the angles. Now it's in the way. My apologies. I can't escape Chandra. There we go. An elephant deciding that it's tired of the spike thorn diet. Time to move on and see what else it can find. I'm keeping an eye out for our little one. I want to show you another view of Benjamin Button. Definitely by one of the cutest baby elephants I have ever seen. And since our ellies are a bit obscured here, let's try for one more view. Such a tiny little one. Good point from Shamsun, saying that I do smell like lion. Would it not bother the elephants? The whole area at the moment, Shamsun, smells like lion. This is where the female was keeping her cubs. The males have moved in. Oh, there's a gentle squeak from Maggie now. A complaint after all of my off-roading. Oh, get a big stick. Shamsun, yes, it could bother the ellies slightly. Oh, what is that little one doing? Can you see it there, Chandra? Little bit of curiosity there, exploring its new world, and trunk not quite coordinated enough to fully master it. Might actually be eating Mom's dung as well, which they do for the antibodies and the bacteria that it will need in the future. So baby elephants do occasionally eat their mother's dung. Oh, that's cute. So Shamsun, I don't think it's me that smells like lion urine, I hope. We'll find out when I actually get off. I think Maggie took the brunt of it. Might be all over Maggie's side mirror. Yes, it could potentially bother the elephants if it was an unexpected smell. But as I said, the whole area at the moment smells like lion. It doesn't appear to be bothering them at all. But we are very, very cautious of our impact in those sorts of way. Or if the elephants are showing us any sign of unhappiness, then immediately we would have moved away. But she is quite comfortable with us. And her little wrinkly baby, which is just too cute. It's like its skin is 2 sizes too big for it. Aqua. Well done, by the way, Aqua. Bravo on the name Benji, our Benjamin Button elephant. I think that is a brilliant name. Aqua, it would be wonderful to watch Benji grow up and fill out his wrinkles, which he will of course do, but I completely agree with you. I'd love to know what caused it. He looks like he's inherited a second-hand skin. Like he's got an older cousin and it's just been a hand-me-down. It really is too sweet, but I agree. And the joys of Safari Live is that we might be able to identify. I don't know how quickly those wrinkles are going to disappear or how easy he's going to be in future. So why don't we have a look at Mom? Because he's going to be with Mom, very close with Mom, for at least the next 3 years of his life. But let's have a look at her identifying features so that we know in future when we are looking at Benji, the little wrinkly elephant. It sounds like the title to a children's book, doesn't it? So she's got a little nick flap on the outside of her ear. Oh, crunch. That's about her only identifying feature on that ear that we can see at this perspective or from this angle. She's got 2 relatively uniform tusks. One right, one slightly pointier, but that always changes because they break. So the outline of the ear is one of the best ways of sort of an on-spec identification of an elephant, because those nicks and cuts and imperfections will remain that way for the rest of their lives. And the car's about to rock a little bit. It's not Jandre's fault. His camera work is perfect as always. I'm taking my foot off the brake, which I should have done ages ago. Oh. Well, that was, yes, that was very dramatic. I thought we were going to roll back further. And she's currently enjoying an entire, and that is a root that she's just pulled out there. She's dug up and pulled out a root system of what looks like it was a monkey thorn or something similar, and she is now crunching her way through it. So not even as they do with a stick or a piece of trunk, not aiming for the cambium layer of the bark, she's crunching the root, the entire root, because it contains, as you know, root is a storage system for a plant, so it contains a great deal of nutrients as well as water and nitrates, because as herbivores they do need to supplement their protein intake. The nitrates in the rhizomes of the various plants, particularly acacias and their relatives, provide them with the protein or the nitrates that proteins would otherwise provide in meat eaters and carnivores or omnivores. Her little one, Benji, is just being the cutest thing that ever walked the face of the planet. I know we were discussing lion cubs and that they are cuter than anything else. I'm pretty sure that because we're currently looking at him, Benji might win that title, but he doesn't want to be looked at anymore. He wants to do yoga behind Mom, which is fair enough. Do some morning stretches, do some trunk coordination learning. We've all got different impressions of what our little baby elephant looks like, and Maurice says that it looks as though she left the baby in the bath for too long. It's gone all pruny, like our fingers and our toes do. I think that's a brilliant comparison. Mommy, how did you get your baby so wrinkly? What on earth caused that? Oh, kneeling down, imitating Mom. And Shamsun, no, I don't think his wrinkles are from dehydration, although I can see what you mean. That might have been a little bit of concern. But no, she seems to be, just looking at her a little bit, she seems to be lactating. I don't think it's from dehydration. I think this, and if a baby elephant was dehydrated to the extent that his skin was wrinkling, it certainly wouldn't have the same degree of energy that our little one is displaying at the moment. So I don't think we need to be worried, although that was a good point. It was a good suggestion, because baby elephants in this time of drought might be struggling if their mom's not producing enough milk, particularly a young mom, as ours is here. But at the moment, you can see that curiosity, attempting to learn how to pull up grass stems with its trunk, this bizarre protrusion on the end of its face that he has to come to grips with and learn how to use. And at the moment that is occupying his current fixation is that blade of grass that's there. Oh, she's nearly eaten, while we've been looking at her gorgeous baby, she's nearly eaten that entire root, crunching her way through it. Oops, tired of that now. You dropped it, girl. It's there. This little one wobbles its way around underneath Mom's tummy and attempts to kick up whatever it can find and then pick it up with its trunk. It isn't going terribly well at the moment. Kathy, our little one here, once he stopped sucking his trunk for comfort, oh, there's Mommy. Come on, Mommy, let Benji have a drink. Our little one will start eating solid food at around 6 months of age, is when you start to see them Oh, Mommy, come on, get your little one. You know, I said she looked like she was lactating. She actually doesn't look like she's lactating that much. The mammaries don't look as large as they might otherwise. But it might just be because she's young. It might just be because she's young and small. She is letting the little one try and feed now, but she's just distracted by the roots. But Kathy, 6 months of age, is the age at which they start to properly supplement. They will put other things in their mouths before that, and occasionally chew and swallow them, kind of like toddlers and any object that you don't want them to put in their mouth and chew and swallow. baby elephants are much the same, and they often watch mom or older cousins or siblings to attempt to... Here we go. Here we go, little one. Round you go. There we are. Except mom won't really keep still because mom's hungry. She's decided that she wants food first. As poor little Benji attempts to latch on at the same time and dodge the kicking feet. And then water. Well, we've seen them drink water at about 3 or 4 months of age. They'll start to drink that. But mostly they will be entirely reliant upon their mother's milk, and she will lactate for up to 3 years after giving birth. And then comes the full-on process of weaning, which is not something that's appreciated by little baby elephants, nor in fact baby hyenas, which we were talking about earlier. And they start to have proper full-on weaning tantrums, where they scream at their mothers. And a lot of the vocalizations that we hear come from screaming baby elephants being told they can't drink milk anymore. She is definitely thoroughly focused on something in here. She's trying to kick away the trees so she can get to the root system. Using a combination, mainly she's using her feet to dig, which is why poor Benji can't get in to have a drink. Oh. And he's not winning at all because she really, really wants whatever's underneath here. But once she's finished with this, then she will allow him to suckle. It's just because she needs her front legs. Elephants, apart from primates, are the only animals out here with pectoral nipples, pectoral mammary glands. It's making life tricky. Benjamin? Our little... No, not Benjamin. Sorry, Benjamin's the elephant. Don. Sorry. I got distracted by the elephant. Don, not Benjamin. Don would like to know how much I think Benjamin weighs. I'd say he would top out the scale at around... Even though he looks so incredibly tiny, probably around close to 200 pounds, if not a little bit more. He's very, very young still, and he's not a big elephant calf, but they're usually born just under or around 100 kilograms, so close to 200, 220 pounds. So Benjamin will be a little bit bigger than that. So although he looks tiny, I suppose everything looks tiny in comparison to a couple of tons worth of mom. Ah, there we go. Well done, Mom. I mentioned that she is quite a young mother. Could well be her first calf. Although I'm starting to think perhaps second, because she has had a young elephant hanging out with her the entire time that we've been here. And the elephants do maintain their bond with their offspring. Hello. Oh, little one. That wasn't a very big drink, was it? It was not a very big drink. No. Oh, watch out. Watch out, that's a dangerous spot to be in. Davina, you wanted to know... I've forgotten what you wanted to know. I've got completely distracted by the elephant calf and by the approaching vehicle. Sorry. Oh, that's what we were talking about. That's why we were talking about why the mom is young. You wanted to know what age they start to have babies. And oh, she's given up on the idea of digging. She's now going to push the tree over entirely, or is thinking about it. At their earliest, they reach sexual maturity at around 12 or so. And they can have their first calf that young, about 12, 13. That's when puberty hits or sexual maturity hits. It often takes a little bit longer for them to go into a true estrus and to be fully fertile and to give birth. And between 12 to 15 years of age is usually when a female has her first offspring. Our young elephant cow that's digging away here she's probably under 20 years old. Oh, being a bit protective of her little one, chasing the other slightly older elephant away. But she is absolutely determined to get to the root system of this tree. And what we're watching in a way is quite sad, because there's a certain level of desperation for the elephants. They've got to spend this amount of time and put this amount of focus into searching for the nutrition that they need. Hello, Benji. You cute. Can't quite understand why Mom is so focused. You really are just the sweetest little thing. Oh, she's kicking away at the roots and at the same time Benji's getting in the way a little bit of her intently focused work, but she's finally, oh, ouch, that looked sore. It snapped sooner than she expected it to. She's finally managed to pull some of the root system free. Little Benji investigating exactly what Mom is having a look at. Well, guys, as you know, we do have small issues with the backpack and the batteries. What that means is that Genre needs to do a battery change at some point soon. So what we're going to do is, because we're going to disappear off your screens for a while, we're going to stay with our elephants. We're going to send you over to Brent, and we will be back with you shortly.
We went past a 3-in-a-row pan again. Unfortunately, no luck there. Temperature has dropped. We have reapplied warm clothing, blankets and gloves. Now, I'm just going to have another check through here on the southern boundary, just in case Queen Karula has made her way back later in the morning. So let's just have a quick look at the tracks around here. Okay, so this is where the kill was, and the hyenas dragged it to the north. Now, I heard Aubrey say after we went past here that it looked like Karula had followed those drag marks of the hyenas stealing her kill. Now, this is not uncommon for leopards. It's more common for male leopards than female leopards, who will sometimes be able to steal their kill back from the hyenas. But a female leopard of Karula's size, that is probably a little bit unlikely. But nevertheless, it's definitely worth a check. I can hear some upset little batters, a little flycatcher. They get upset at nearly everything. It's always worth having a double look when you hear those little alarm calls. I don't know if can you hear them, Brian? Yeah. I'm getting more upset, so I'm just scanning the bush here, making sure Queen Karula isn't just lying down somewhere close by. Let's move forward a little bit. Now, Jeremiah is wondering, will leopards make a kill even if they've just made a kill? Yes, they will. They are opportunists, and they are able to stash their kill in the tree. Just want to make sure she's not just lying close by here somewhere. I can saw the batters fly. They could have been upset by a slender mongoose, a bird of prey zooting over. I think it's definitely worth having a look on Leadwood Road. So here we go. Here's the drag mark. Now I'm trying to see. The tracks following it. Well, So it's quite difficult. She's been here for a while, obviously, with that kill, so there's tracks in all directions. And we're still going to go have a quick look on Leadwood Road, which runs parallel to where we are now. So while we try to figure out what's going on in this area, let's go back to little Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Button is being absolutely adorable, attempting to uproot what he's managed to find. It's now in his mouth, and he's pulling hard, trying to use feet just like Mom, but it just isn't quite working. The coordination, oh, not 100% there. And sometimes, if your legs aren't long enough to take the step, you've just got to do a slide down into the road. Looking up in our direction, and just thoroughly curious at this age. Oh, what have you found? What have you found, little one? Got a stick. Yes, I've got a stick. And Mom puts this in her mouth, and obviously I want to be big and strong like Mommy, so I'm going to do it too. We're just going to roll backwards a little bit so that one of the vehicles can pass. And and Benji's gone hiding behind Mom anyway. Cool. I'm just going to shift back. I know the microphone looks ridiculous, but I was trying to speak softly. Chandra thinks it's hilarious. I like that idea from Lucy in South Bend, Indiana. I'm sorry, please ignore this. I can probably now tuck it back in. Sorry, Gooby. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. No reason to stress. We'll turn off until the other car's away. Lucy's thinking along the lines, you know when you see somebody with a puppy with folds and folds of skin and enormous feet, and you say to them, oh, that's going to be a big dog. Lucy said perhaps Benjamin Button is so wrinkly because he's going to grow into an absolutely enormous elephant. And perhaps he is. Perhaps one day, many, many, many years from now, when Safari Live is a virtual safari experience where you can look around and smell everything and feel the breeze upon your face, perhaps then, in 30 years' time, we will see Benjamin Button and look upon his enormous stature and look back upon Lucy's words. I'm going to go forward a little bit. She's relaxed again. People always said that about my dog Lexi, and they were right. She was huge. I think that's about as far as we can go. Now, for me, as much as I love our big cats and our graceful leopards, our magnificent lions, okay, so those of you who have always wondered about the vocalizations of other elephants and have heard those sorts of sounds before, and we've often spoken about, oh shame, the little one's actually a bit concerned. It's alright, Benjamin, it'll be fine. So that looked very scary to everybody who was watching. It wasn't. We often speak about the fact that what upsets elephants is other elephants, and there she was getting a bit cross with that young bull's vicinity to, first of all, oh sorry, I think it's a young cow, vicinity first of all to her baby, but also to the tree that she wants to eat, and competition for food at the moment is incredibly fierce. So what you saw there actually looked like bullying. Looked a little bit painful, but she never used the full might of her strength. She just conveyed her lack of appreciation for a lack of self-respect for her personal space. And our little one's moving off. It's got a bit confused in all of that ruckus, wondering what's going on, curious, and responding like a human child might do, which is with a fascination as to how the situation is playing out. But that was incredible. That's not often that you get to see an elephant actually pin down another elephant, which is what she did there. And she wouldn't let it get up initially. Now, how incredible was that sighting? And I don't know what the sound was like from your perspective. That it was so incredible. Jean actually can't breathe. He's having to cough in the back there. But that truly was, I mean, that vocalization is absolutely astounding. And she's now calmly nibbling on her roots like nothing untoward has happened, because this actually does happen frequently in the elephant world. And now you understand when we say that what upsets elephants most is other elephants. Her baby's gone completely now, perhaps terrified that Mom's going to be cross with him as well. She won't be. I think she is very, very hungry though, and that's why she's been so focused on the root systems and the tree. Shame. And one rather offended, rather confused young elephant has moved off, having been quite thoroughly chastised. It actually brings me beautifully into the answer to Christopher's question, which is how sentient I think elephants are. And I was on my way to talking about how much I appreciate spending time with them and enjoy spending time with them. And they really, I don't know how sentient, it's up to you, I think, Christopher, to decide how you feel about them. I know that when an elephant walks up to my vehicle and looks at me, I know that there is something looking at me. When I look into an elephant's eyes, there is something looking back. It's not human, but there is certainly an incredibly powerful presence and a powerful intelligence there. And that's proven with facts in terms of the examination of an elephant's brain. And it's just under 3 times the size of a human being's brain, so not proportionately not as large as ours compared to our body size, but enormous nevertheless. And with nerve pathways that do transmit and are connected to the emotional development of the species. And only whales, dolphins and whales, and the great apes and human beings have those nerve pathways. So you can interpret that as you want to. I feel relatively strongly that that's a sign that they are not human, but certainly there is a very, I would call it a powerful intelligence that looks at one there. I was going to reposition, I'm not going to. We've seen what she just did to that other elephant. I would prefer it if that wasn't Maggie. Risk incurring her wrath. And Christopher, of course, is talking about a lot of the videos that have come to light of elephants seeking out human help. I don't know how much of that is a deliberate decision. That, again, it's entirely up to you. I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced myself. Yes, little one, it's time for you to come back to Mum. You are wandering very far afield. Not that she's shown any sign of concern. But it's all over. The drama's all over. I love that little elephant's behavior, an elephant calf behavior. When Mom shows aggression, the elephant calf goes running up next to her as if to say, yes, we'll show you. Another graceful slide. And this is the equivalent of a young child desperately wanting to taste a coffee and not really liking it, but wanting to try it anyway, because it's what grown-ups do. It's what this little elephant's doing here with curiosity. It was intense. It was an incredibly intense moment that we just witnessed. And it's odd that we haven't caught more of those moments on camera, because they do often occur, especially with mothers with young calves. They tend to be relatively short-tempered. Now the little male, not the little male, the little male that's been with her the whole time, I suspect is a previous calf. So Benji's older brother. And I think that's why he came running back when his mother started to scream, rather than running away, as the other 2 young elephants did. I think it's safe. There's a good chance that that is Mommy's older boy. So we might have 2 brothers there. I'm not 100% sure what that poor young elephant did to upset our female quite so severely. I guess it was just proximity to her baby. Perhaps she felt blocked in. And also she didn't want her near the roots that she's just spent the entire time pulling up. Benji has just delivered older brother the root system that he was carrying. That's really cute. Older brother who knows a little bit better what to do with it. Oh, or not. Not entirely. Look at this, guys. You cannot witness a moment like that and not believe in the incredible power of an elephant's emotional intelligence. Look at this. Treated with absolute tolerance and gentleness from older brother, although given mom's temper, I wouldn't advise any other path of behavior. But nevertheless, a really special bonding session between two little boys of a herd. And very often these young, mainly the young cows, but young bulls as well, actually accept babysitting responsibility. The whole herd is invested in the future of each and every calf. They're almost, although they have their own mothers, they're almost babies of the herd, and are treated as such. Sometimes it makes them precocious little brats that come and cause trouble and tell on each other, which we've seen on the live safaris before. Here you go, Mum. Here you go, Mum. I found this for you. Doesn't taste very nice, Mum. Hurts my gums. Since I actually, at this age, don't really have much in the way of teeth. Oops. He stood on it. This is what, to me... Ooh, I'm going to get into trouble for this. But I'll say it anyway. This is what, to me, makes baby elephants cuter than... Oof, cuter than baby lions and even baby leopards. And I'm not denying that they are adorable. Oh, careful. I'm going to push that onto the poor little baby. It's their curiosity. It's that intense... And not to say that leopard and lion cubs don't have that. But a baby elephant has an intense, focused learning that you can really clearly see they're going about. It's not play fighting necessarily, although they do that. It's investigating the world around them. Perhaps it's not a competition. But there is something that connects human beings to elephants. You can decide it. I think it's actually quite an intensely personal thing, how people feel about them. Now, my mom's absolute favorite animal. My brother's absolutely terrified of them. What's that, Benjamin? What's happening there? Were you watching that, Chandra? It was amazing. Aqua, I agree with you. It's a very, very special little elephant sighting. This is a very, very special little elephant. And his mom obviously thinks so too. That fiery protective instinct within her. And Aqua, it's a pleasure. You don't have to thank me. I think that regardless of whether or not we were live or even broadcasting, Chandra and myself would be sitting here watching this situation play out, because it's absolutely, one cannot begin to look away from it. Oh, poor little Benji, so bored. Not bored, but looking for a distraction of some kind. All the adults are so busy eating and being boring. Here we go, I found myself another piece of bark. but my trunk's not very good at picking things up yet. Let me try and get up this incredibly steep incline. This massive step. Yesterday we were treated to another extraordinary elephant sighting, which involved a leopard watching them from the safety and security of a couple of guarri bushes. Quarantine in this case. And I mentioned the fact that baby elephants have better eyesight than the adults. They tend to be sharper. I don't know. I think it's a combination of better eyesight and also the fact that they're more focused on their surroundings because they're interested in what's going on. Justin, you were wondering, would a baby elephant have a sharper sense of smell than an adult? I'm not sure, to be 100% honest with you. Generally children, I'm trying to base it off human beings, generally children have an incredibly well-developed sense of smell, often better than adults, or at least they're more aware of it. I think you might find that their sense of smell could potentially be stronger, but their sensory development and their brain development is behind that of an adult, so they're not 100% sure about how to interpret what it is they're smelling, I think. But that's not 100% certainty, Justin, at all. I honestly don't know the answer to that. It makes sense to me, though, that they have to develop their knowledge of the olfactory world in the same way they have to develop their coordination. Here's this incredibly steep hill again. Are we going to do another slide? Or are we going to stop and snuffle the roots? Yep. Oh no! Desperately trying to get it into its mouth. But the cord... Oh. Did you drop it? Mommy, I dropped it.
We just had a very brief visual of Shadow crossing the road, and we've tried to loop around to find her again, and we haven't had any success just yet. But we have found a male Inyala, and it did look like she might be stalking something. Now, that male Inyala might be a bit big for her, but we just, as soon as we spotted him, we stopped. But I think there's another Inyala, another male Inyala as well. But she's somewhere within the 50 meters of us. It's a very thick area. Wind's picking up. Now, she's quite capable of killing an animal this size. But like with Karula and that male impala, the chances of being able to hang on to the kill are quite slim. Just sitting here and listening very carefully. Now the Nyala are behaving like there's nothing wrong. We know there's a leopard here, the Nyala don't. The only problem is she might decide that this Inyala might be a bit big and move around them, and we might lose it, but we are keeping our eyes peeled around us. And she has chosen a very, very thick, difficult area. So we couldn't follow her from the road, it was too thick, we had to go around. So unfortunately the backpack battery has expired and needs to go back on charge, so you're stuck with the killer bees for the last 30 minutes or so of the sunrise safari. I'm going to sit here for another few minutes. I'm watching all around, making sure she hasn't slipped past us. Now, I can only see 2 male Nyala. That doesn't mean there aren't some females around. And a female Nyala, or especially a young Nyala, is more sort of shadows, size of prey. Just looking for any sign of movement in the bush beyond us. Now, of course, if she gets spotted, as a Nyala will let off that deep alarm call. It's like, probably closely described to a dog bark. It's a burr, burr. That's only if she's spotted. I'm really hoping she hasn't snuck past these Nyala and us. So you've got the one Nyala there that Brian's showing you. And to the left, in the depth of the thicket, is another male Nyala. Right in the depth. I can only really see the leaves moving. So almost parallel to you, Brian. Might be able to pick up a little bit of movement there. So not only are we listening for the Nyala alarm calls, we're also listening for any bird alarm calls that might give it away. So let me just have a look where Brian's looking at the moment. A little bit more to the left. Keep coming. Keep coming. And drop a little bit. A bit to the right. Now, right in there, believe it or not, is another Nyala. Now, there we go. You can just see his feet moving. You can hear him feeding. But no sign of shadow yet. But I don't want to move around too much because those Nyala are quite close to us. And when we saw shadow is no more than 30 meters from here. Just gonna station standing by on Gary Main. Got to play the patience game. Okay, so the strong wind is going to help her. And she could be right there, and that leopard camouflage is so incredible. And leopards can sometimes take quite a long time to stalk their prey. Being ambush predators, they want to be within sort of 5 or 6 meters before they pounce. The wind is in her favor. Now from where that Inyala is, where we saw her, was slightly to the left of her, but about 30 meters back. And she was jogging that low sort of jog that leopards do when they spot potential prey. So he's actually feeding towards where we last saw her. Oh, he's lying down. Oh, is that going to make it easier for her? Now the wind is going to mask her movements. Even if she puts her foot out of place slightly, the sound through the trees will help mask her movements. As I said, the wind is in her favor. I'm going to try and move now that the nyalas have settled down. I'm going to try and move a little bit wider to see if we can see if there's anything on the other side. And in this winter, the colors around these Tumbuerti thickets will suit her camouflage perfectly. See if we can spot where she is. So this is quite a difficult area. So we were there, we saw her run in down here. I just want to check this animal path to make sure she didn't sneak past us. So there's no tracks there. I've got her. Okay, Brian. Straight down this animal path. There. She's also playing the patience game. You see a little bit up? There she is. So she's watching those Inyala. Just judging from her language, I think she's probably a bit disappointed that they're big males and not young females. They might be a little bit big for her, but you never know. Now, I think that's the first time I've seen Shadow and Tundi in the same day. So we've seen both sisters. They are the first litter of Queen Karula, about 9 years old, both of the leopards we've seen this morning. I'm just going to try and move forward a skosh so you can get a gap. Say when, Brian, just trying to get you a gap, a better gap. I think that's, how's that, Brian? That's, I think, about as good as we're going to get without getting too close and disturbing what's going on in front of us. Although it doesn't look like she's lost interest in hunting those Inyala. And having a snooze. Aqua was wondering, she's asked to refresh her memory. Does Tundi have cubs or is expecting cubs? I'm not sure. We don't see Tundi really enough, and that sighting we had today was very, very, very brief for me to see if there were any suckle marks or whatnot. I don't think she's had cubs yet, though. So, okay, there's shadow. And if we come out, there we go, coming out. And there's me. Hi. And there's the Inyala. Here's the Inyala. And he looks very relaxed, chewing the cud, ruminating. Now, I'm just gonna move slightly to try get you a better view of shadow. It's going to take a little bit of a 68-point turn. To try and make sure. Okay, she's moving. Maybe there's some other Inyala we haven't seen. Because she's not moving to the ones we can see. She's moving slightly further to the west. Now remember, we're watching this leopard live in the middle of Africa. And Brian is giving you the best view we can get. I'm looking the exact same. I can only see her hindquarters and her tail. No, she's after something else, I think. And she's moved. I can't see her at all now. Can you see any movement, Brian? Standing by yours. Yeah, if she's just got up, I've just lost visual, and she looks like she's stalking something slightly more to the west towards the drainage line, but no more than 20 meters from Gowrie Main. I mean from Triple M North. Copy, will do. Ryan, you got anything? Let's move forward a skosh. Brian's got her. I can't see her. There she is. Well spotted, Brian. Now I'm trying to find them with my eyes. I can see them on the monitor. Ah, there we go. I've got her. What are you up to, madam? I wonder where the cub is as well. Now, they found her on Juma, we're on Arethusa at the moment, just across the boundary from Djuma. Now, where they found her is an area she really utilized a lot to leave her last cub, Sindile, and I wonder if she's left that little female in that same drainage system no more than 100 meters from where we are. Now she's just sitting, listening. I'm just trying to hear if there's possibly not something else in this thicket that she's after. I don't think she's after these two big male Inyala. And you can see how well that camouflage works. It just disappears. Now, I completely agree with you, James Richard. So even when the visual isn't great, the potential of a hunt is always exciting. And it's so thick here, we don't know what else is in this thicket apart from us, the two Inyala and Shadow. Oh, she's coming back away from where she was going. Looks like she might come straight towards us. She's coming right towards us. Hello, Shadow. Look at that. Hello, girl. Oh, they're such exquisite animals. She is hungry, I can see that. Checking the wind. Very, very nice. Oh, she spotted something behind us. No, I think it's just those male Nyala. They're a bit big for her. So she's actually walking right past the Nyala that's sleeping and completely ignoring it. Okay, let's try back out of here. We did take us a 68-point turn to get in here, so watch behind you, Brian. And where'd you go? I'm pretty sure she's continuing through here on the edge of the thing. Straight ahead. Through there. Okay, I'm going to go round where we've got a little bit more open. Ah, got it. I wonder if she's going back to the cub. The cub, of course, could be on this side of the road just as easily. but it does look to me like she's hunting. Any stations in the west still mobile? Oh, she's been spotted by a Franklin. You can see her tail lifted up. Okay, let's see. She's going into a particularly tricky area. The shadow's well known for that. I'll try to see if I can find a spot to loop around. Whoopsie daisies. You see it, Ryan? She should be popping out around this little open patch. There she is. She's changed her direction slightly. She's heading a bit more south now. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, off she jumps. I love it when leopards do that and they put their front legs up on the log. She's disappearing into the next thicket. I'm going to stay with her as long as we can through here. I said it is quite a difficult area and she is moving quite quickly. I think that's because she's hungry. Oh, she just narrowly missed the diker. Oh, she charges. Oh, that was close. She must have missed that diker by half a meter. She suddenly just leapt. And she's running now to try catch up. Can you see her through there, Brian? Just go forward. That. You got it. There she is there. You can just make out those rosettes. So I'm going to leave her alone now. I think I'm going to let her hunt. I will come look for her, or someone will come look for her this evening, and hopefully there's some luck. But let's let her hunt in peace. She does have a little cub to care for, and I'm hoping that cub is on Juma at the moment. So very exciting. And we're just going to reverse back slightly. We might be able to get a long distance visual of her as she heads off. You okay there, Brian? I don't think so, I'm afraid. Off she goes into the ether. So turn around quickly. She has chosen a particularly tricky area to move through, but leopards tend to do that. Well, so far, so good. My cat luck seems to be holding out. So every single drive I've been on since being back from leave, I've been lucky enough to see one, sometimes two, sometimes more than two cats. This morning we had a very brief visual of Tundi, Shadow's litter mate and sister, And now at the end of the safari, we had a lovely view of Shadow right at the end as she walked right next to the vehicle. But it is now time for us to say toodaloo, nearing the end of the sunrise safari. And I'm going to say goodbye for Jamie and Gendre as well, as their battery didn't quite make the whole drive. But from the killer bees, it's been a wonderful cat-filled morning. And from the thumb and the spider flashing around in front of the thumb, hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday and see you in a few hours.